The difference between a successful business and a non-successful business falls 100% on the owner's discipline to stick to the path, to try new things, to get beat up, chewed up, and spit out every day, and get back up and do it again tomorrow. Welcome to the Sales Made Simple podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping overwhelmed outdoor living professionals, landscapers, and hardscapers just like you increase your closing rate to over 75% without doubling your workload so you can build a seven-figure business that doesn't need you. I'm your host, Joshua Gillow. Let's dig in. So 3 o'clock this morning, I wake up in bed and I open my eyes and they hurt. They're really, really, really dry. And I'm sitting here thinking like, man, you know, sometimes when you sleep, you have your mouth open and it's really dry and leathery when you wake up and you kind of smack your lips a little bit and get it wet. And you're like, that's kind of uncomfortable. Well, I felt that way with my eyes and I tried to blink them and they hurt. And I was thinking, well, maybe I slept with my eyes open last night and they're dried out, right? And I'm thinking, wait a minute here. Like, you know how it is when you wake up and certain crazy things like that make sense. And after a second, you're like, I'm not sleeping with my eyes open. It's crazy. So I went back to sleep and I woke up a few hours later and my eyes felt like somebody took salt and sand and put it underneath my eyelids. And I'm sitting here in bed thinking, man, this is painful. This sucks. What happened? Do I have an infection in my eyes? I'm not sure exactly what is going on here. It's pitch black still. And so I can get one eye just slightly enough open so I can see around just to get down steps and go to the medicine cabinet and see if I can find eye drops or something. And I eventually do find some eye wash and use it. And it doesn't help at all. And I wake my wife up and she jumps into mom mode and she takes care of whatever we got in the house and brings it over and we try stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking deeper down, why the heck are my eyes so messed up? Why are my eyes so painful right now? Just burning. You know, it is like with an earache where it just hurts, or this eye thing was something. So I'm sitting here thinking like, what is the reason why this happened? So I'm thinking, I'm like, I didn't do anything crazy during the day that would, to warrant anything like this. I couldn't think of anything until I realized the last thing I did yesterday, which was I fixed our UV light for our pool. So we have a aquatic ultraviolet, whatever light, and it has 6 40-watt bulbs in it. And I was testing all the bulbs yesterday. And here, what I ended up doing is I ended up scorching my retinas. I ended up burning them because of the UV light. I only had it on and I only looked at the bulbs for a very short amount of time, but I didn't realize the impact of that intensity. So I'm sitting here thinking like, holy moly, like, first of all, this isn't some bacterial thing. This is something I did to myself. And I didn't realize I've been working with UV lights for a good 20 some years. And I've looked at bulbs before with never any reaction. So this was very unique. Anyway, so I'm sitting there thinking, the pain's coming and going. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to fall back asleep. There's just no way. And I'm sitting there thinking like, wait a minute here, Joshua, you have a choice. You're going to either try to avoid the pain and do whatever you can to numb the pain, or you're going to lean into the pain, sit with the pain, let the pain direct you. So I decided to do B. I said, in the past, I would have tried my hardest to get out of the pain in whatever way I could. What happens when we don't try to avoid the pain of life, of these things, but we actively and courageously walk into them and sit with them? So I sat praying for a while in bed. I sat there just thinking about the pain as it came. Every time my eyes moved, it felt like there was sand inside of them. And I'm like, you know what? There's a bigger meaning and a bigger reason for all of this happening. And I'm just sitting there with that, asking God for what the reasoning would be and making sure. And I for the first time in my life, I asked him something simple. I said, God, please, whatever you're trying to teach me in this moment, please don't rob me of that to get rid of the pain. If the pain has to stay for a while or I can't see for a day or two, then that's what it is. I want to be here to be in this pain so I can learn the lesson you're trying to teach me. And, it's the craziest thing. And I eventually did fall back asleep and woke up a few hours later and it was no better. And went downstairs and just felt my way through the house. Good thing I know where I'm at here and I know where all the pieces are so I can move through it all. And it just got me to thinking about, okay, well, Joshua, it's time to start your day. You can't see. Your eyes feel like somebody put salt and sand underneath your eyelids. Otherwise, your body's fine. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with this? And my old patterns came up and I said, you've got every reason not to do your disciplines today. You have every reason not to engage and just completely disconnect and go sit on the couch or put in a podcast or whatever, because you don't got eyes to use right now. So you have all of these choices. And I sat there thinking, I'm like, I do have choices, and I could choose the victim path or I could choose the victor path. And the victor path looked a little different. The victor path was, as soon as my wife came down from waking up, we go out on our walk every morning. And I wasn't going to miss that walk, even though I couldn't open my eyes. And I told my wife, I'm like, I'm going on a walk with you today. She's like, okay. And I said, but you're going to have to hold my hand throughout, and so I can get where we got to go. And she said, okay. So I put my shoes on and stumbled out the door, and we went for our walk and had a great conversation. And in my heart, I said, the pain is going to be what it is, but I choose to be present right now with her in this walk. And I can't see, but I can listen, and I can feel, and I can be here. So I choose this path. I came back to the house, and I had already a ruck scheduled with a good friend. And so I said to myself, well, I was going to go pick him up in my vehicle and take him to the park. We're going to do this ruck. And my old pattern came up and said, oh, you can't do the ruck, dude. You got to call it off. There's no way, you can't see. And I was like, nope, not going to do that. Fuck that. We're doing this. My discipline says every morning I read scripture first. Every morning I spend time with my family, with my wife. Every morning I do physical hard stuff. And then I take a cold shower, and then I start my day. That is my discipline. I don't care if I can see or not. I don't care if it's comfortable or not. This is what must be done. So I decided at that point, I quick texted my buddy, and I said, hey, can you come pick me up instead? I'll explain when you get here. So he picked me up. I could just open one eye at that time, and I was like, all right, good. At least I got some vision. This is good. Grabbed all my stuff, my ruck and everything I needed, and threw it in his car, and off we went to the park. And we rucked for a good hour. And over that time, my eyes started to finally open up a little bit more. Still burned like hell, but I could see out of them. And I learned something through this process and through this day and through this morning. What God was trying to teach me is that, you know what? We're going to be challenged every day as business owners, as fathers, as mothers, as leaders in our lives. We're going to be challenged every day. And our questions that we ask ourselves, or the choices that we make in answering those questions, are really what drive what's going to happen next. I could have easily stayed on the couch, had my wife tend to all my needs, and said, woe is me, and would have been completely justified. But I chose a different path. And the crazy part is, when you look at life and you look at how you show up in your business and any other engagement you have, or any other commitments that you have in your life, and you think, honestly, you need to ask yourself, listeners, do I try to take the easy path and try to find excuses for not doing it? Or do I find a fucking way no matter what? Do I dig deep when shit hurts and I need to make this work because my discipline says I have to? The difference between a successful business and a non-successful business falls 100% on the owner's discipline to stick to the path, to try new things, to get beat up, chewed up, and spit out every day, and get back up and do it again tomorrow. Brothers and sisters, I feel you. This was God's way of showing me in a different way how to do that. And the question was, would I show up as the man that he's created me to be, or would I try to wimp out because it was justified? It was so easy. Every single cell in my body wanted to stay home. But no, leaders don't do that. Leaders get up and they get shit done, especially when it's not comfortable. So listeners, if you find yourself making excuses, it's okay. It's a starting point. That's called awareness. It's time for you to stop making excuses and start making the way possible. Start getting out there and getting that action done. Because I'll tell you, if you want to take your business from where it is now to some, amazingly high spot, or super, profitable, or double down on what your revenue is now, and you have all these aspirations, you need to become somebody different than you are now to get to a different goal. Like, the person you are now got you to where you are, but you will not get to that goal by being the same person you are now. You need to grow. And most of that growth, if not all of it, is in the disciplines that you hold each day. Now, they don't have to be exactly like mine, but if you don't hold discipline each and every day, I don't care how good you are at sales, I don't care how good you are at anything you do, building paver patios or pergolas or pools or whatever it might be, it doesn't matter. If you truly want to grow and you have a growth mindset, You need disciplines in your day. And those disciplines are the curbs, the guardrails of your life. So when shit hits the fan and you don't feel like it, you do it anyway. And think about how that shows up in your life. How when things are really tough and you're used to doing the tough stuff, those really tough things that come up in business and life feel like nothing because you're still doing it. So I finished the ruck. I came back. I jumped in the shower, and every bit of me wanted to say, you don't need to go into a cold shower. You don't need to do that. Look, your eyes aren't working right. Why are you doing this today? Why are you doing this to yourself? You don't need to do this. Cold water it was. Finished up, got down, got on my calls, ready to go for the day and primed. Now, with God's grace, my eyes are open now, still burning like a bastard, but you know what? The lesson sticks. And I wanted to share that with you this morning, not because I want you to think anything of me personally, but to think about that story in your life. When have times been really hard and you found excuses not to follow through on the things you know you need to, the things you've been procrastinating on, and have all the excuses for why you haven't done those things? They're just excuses. If you're willing, or actually no, if you really want to succeed in business and in life, you're going to have to get really, really good at doing the shit you don't want to do, finding ways to get it done. And the way that happens is by getting up and doing shit every day that you don't want to do. I don't love rucking. I don't love running. I certainly don't love cold showers. I hate them. But I know they're the path forward. Because if I can do the hard things in the morning, if I can exert my body, I can center my mind and soul, and I can push myself before most people get up, imagine how much more valuable I can be focused and on fire for the day to serve. We can't do that if we're rolling out of bed to an alarm clock, running to get our coffee, half awake, stumbling out of the house, trying to get to the job site. It doesn't work. Get your shit together. Start putting a plan together of how you're going to wake up at the same time each day, how you're going to go to bed at the same time every day, how you're going to work out, how you're going to work on your spiritual life and keep your heart and soul centered, how you're going to work out in your financial part of your life and your family. That needs to be planned. These things don't just happen. They need to be planned and purposeful. So everyone out there listening, I hope you got something from this episode. This lesson that God taught me this morning was super powerful, and I didn't want to just keep it to myself. I wanted to share it with all the listeners. I love you guys. Thank you for listening and coming on this journey with me. And, some of the hardest things that we need to do is deny the body, deny the flesh what it wants. It wants alcohol. It wants weed. It wants porn. It wants sex. It wants food. It wants all of these things. But we don't need all of those things as the body wants them. When we become the ones that control that through discipline and say yes or no to those things, we become the ones that can believe in ourselves. And when we believe in ourselves and we believe that we have the power to control our urges and desires, everything changes. So listeners, keep up the good work. Get out there. Become more aware of this in your life. And I hope this story is a blessing to you guys out there so that you can become more and more in God's image. See you next week.